Welcome to the Harnessing Happiness podcast. This is the Happy Clappy soundbite.
Welcome to your Happy Clappy soundbite for a Friday. From me, Sarah J Naylor at Harnessing Happiness. This is my Friday short soundbite to get you in the mood for a happy weekend. So, what I really want to talk to you about today is nature. Nature makes me happy. Have you been out in nature lately? What do you observe? What do you see? Oh, it's just wonderful, isn't it? I just love it. I mean, wherever you are in the world, we've got nature as soon as we open the front door. And we've even got it in the house or in the flat or wherever it is you live. If you've got some level of greenery around you, oh, it's just so wonderful, isn't it? I mean, right now, the seasons in the UK and Blighty are changing as I record this. And I just think it's amazing when you look out at the richness of the colours and the textures of, you know, the plants, the trees. It's just stunning. We've got what was once green turning to yellow, turning to brown, the leaves dropping off. They're then going into the soil to sort of really be absorbed, to create nutrients, and then it will all start again. I mean, nature is just so wonderful and so magical, and it's so important that we really take care of it and look after it, because we're all part and parcel of it. We're all made up of atoms vibrating at different frequencies to create the physical form we're in, and the plant life's the same. We're all on a different energy frequency, and once we all recognise that and appreciate and love all that around us for that understanding that we are all part of one of the same thing, we're all part of that same whole, maybe we can all be happy for each other and be kinder to each other, which is just so important. I'm digressing a little bit. I wanted to really talk about just embracing and being in nature, and that can be as much as walking out the front door and looking at a tree and embracing the tree for the beauty and the growth that it is. And now here's the thing, this is just a little bit of a side note for you, and I might record something about this in the future. Did you know, like, the acorn will always know it is going to be the oak tree? So it never questions who it is or whether it needs to put on different makeup or wearing different leaves or dress in a different way. It always knows it is going to be an oak tree. And that's the same for everything in nature that is seeded or, you know, it grows. It always knows that that's what it's going to be. It doesn't question it. And, you know, it's about, for us, embracing who we are and accepting the true essence of ourselves, which is really, really powerful. I digress. I really do want to get back to nature. There are so many things I really want to talk and share with you, but this is a happy clappy soundbite, and, you know, I've only really got a few minutes to share. Looking at nature. Nature is just, it's just wonderful. You've got all the sort of the plant life that's growing, and you've got all the, obviously, wildlife and you've got birds, you've got insects. I know people don't like spiders. I'm sorry if you don't like spiders, but do you know what? They play an important part in the world, you know, getting the flies and clearing those up. And there's this whole cycle. I mean, I'm no expert in any of this area, but it's recognising the part that we all need to play in the whole cycle, the cycle of life, you know. It's just really important. But in its essence, about being in the now, which is another podcast that I have recorded, and I hope you visit or revisit, going out into nature and just embracing, you know, the air that you breathe, the plants that are around you, the energy that comes off of them, you know, how life grows, you know, from the seed that comes up, that flowers, that falls back and goes back into the earth and nurtures it, the sunshine, the rain, and all the elements that go to making, well, it's just making the world such a beautiful place. So it's so important that we really take care of it, look after it. We don't put all nasties into the environment. Yeah, it's a massive thing, obviously, that we all need to be acutely aware of. But just taking that time to notice nature, notice the plant life, the wildlife, you know, and be part of it, because we are part of it. We aren't machines. Yeah, we do spend a lot of time on tech, but it's getting that balanced out. Going for a walk, opening the windows, letting some fresh air in, breathing it into our lungs and going, you know, just taking some deep breaths of air and just being. it was something somebody said on a post, back on tech, surprise, surprise, just recently, about doing less and being more. And I think that's really, really important. And I think when you go out into nature, even if it's into your garden, if it's into a local park, or just walking around, there's always going to be something that you can look at and you can embrace, or in your house with a house plant or something. It's just taking that time to be mindful, to be aware, to just take some time and sort of breathe in the energy of nature and be part of it and be still and just be. Literally as simple as that. Give a tree a hug. I'll often give a tree a hug. So it's great. It's a really good feeling. I mean, I love being in a woodland. I love being in a forest. I just feel so safe. It's a really interesting energy when you're in a wood, whether you're out. I've been through woods sort of running and walking and on bike rides and all sorts. And I just love that sort of safety, that sort of being with all the trees and all the nature. And actually, when you talking about the large trees, I mean, that's great. But then when you look down below and you see all that rich plant life, and look at the beauty of the bark on the trunks, and you look at the roots that are growing out, and there's just beauty everywhere. And if you actually start to look at nature closely and the beauty and the richness of it all, that is a really, really feel-good vibe, and it just feels great. And even just being outside. I mean, I don't get out quite as much as I like to do some days, but I do like to get out running and cycling and walking. And, if you know me or you connect with me on other areas of social media, for example, I love my local park run because it's in a park, it's in a community. It can rain, you can come away really, really soggy. Or you can be running in the heat. There's so much that changes in nature. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That's that ever-changing. Certainly in good old Blighty it is anyway. You've got a plan for the day. You've got to pack your Wellingtons and your flip-flops, or maybe your sunglasses and your umbrella, or your sunwear and a woolly jumper. You just never quite know where you're going to be at with our weather. Oh, there's just so much in nature to embrace and to enjoy, and just getting out there. I would far rather myself sit on a beach and look out to sea than I would ever sit in the middle of a busy town centre looking at concrete. I mean, it has its place. Clearly it has its place. And there is nature to be seen there as well. But the more we can connect with nature, the more we can connect with ourselves. So what will you do this weekend? How can you bring some nature into your life? How can you embrace it? What will you do? What will you do differently? Are you able to even get out for 5 minutes and just walk into the garden or walk into the park? Are you able to just go and touch, look at and embrace nature? And if you want to get down onto your hands and knees, have a look at a bit of moss. That's really fascinating. If you actually look at the whole sort of, it's a different, it's like a small little world on its own when you look at a clump of moss. There's so much going on in there. So anyway, you go from the small to the magnificent. There's just beauty. There's beauty in all that you look at and you see and you can embrace. So anyway, here's me rattling on again. I hope you've enjoyed my rambles, and I hope they've resonated in some way. And if they have, please do follow me and subscribe, rate and review, so I can spread this sort of my happy take on life globally, because the more we can spread globally, it's like that pebble that drops into the water. There we go, back to nature. You're dropping a pebble in a pond, in a lake, wherever, in the sea, and it ripples out. The more we can ripple out happiness globally, I think the better life we'll all live, don't you? Because we'll all want to take care of the planet rather than raiding it of all its glory. So anyway, I don't really want to take off and go to another planet to live in yet, do you? I know I don't, and I don't think it's ready for me. So who knows? Anyway, I'm rambling. Have a great weekend. Enjoy, and see you in the next episode, because there are a lot of fabulous guest episodes to come, as well as my sound bites. Okay, take care everyone. Lots of love.
That was the Happy Clappy soundbite. Hear full-length episodes of the Harnessing Happiness podcast, released every Tuesday. And for more exclusive content from Sarah, just visit sarahjnaylor.com.